Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Curry hits 12 three-pointers in win against Magic. The 36-year-old finished with a season-best 56 points as the Warriors made it 5 wins in a row. Curry was in an inspired mood, outscoring the Magic in the third quarter with 22 points to their 21. The pick of the two-time most valuable player's three-pointers came at the end of the second quarter, when he hit a buzzer-beater from well within his own half. Curry's haul came from just 25 shots, the second fewest in NBA history in a match with 55-plus points behind the 24 James Harden needed with the Houston Rockets in 2019. I think the fans here tonight, even the Magic fans, they know they're witnessing the greatest shooter ever, and one of the greatest performers ever, Warriors coach Steve Kerr said. It's not just the shots going in, it's just the fluidity, the beauty of his movement and motion and his audacity, the shots that he's willing to take. He's an incredible performer and he put on quite a show tonight. Curry's career-high match total came against the Portland Trail Blazers in 2021, when he netted 62 points. He has hit 12 or more three-pointers in a single game 3 times in his career, with his haul of 13 coming against the New Orleans Pelicans in 2016. On the fortunate irony of Quinton Post doing most of his damage away from the post. There were always risks involved in starting a lineup consisting of Steph Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Jimmy Butler, Moses Moody, and Draymond Green, the most obvious of which is the fact that Green is a 6 feet 6 inches, generously, center who is counted on to guard opposing centers who may have as much as a 5 to 6 inch height advantage against him. Having a 7 feet 1 inch wingspan makes up for a ton of that discrepancy, but more often than not, height will prevail over heart. In that regard, the Orlando Magic presented a unique challenge for the Golden State Warriors, who, in the Butler era, hadn't really faced the kind of height and length across the board the Magic possessed in abundance. Not only could switching everything throw a wrench into everything the Warriors tried to do in the half-court, even if they got past the point of attack and into the paint, the Magic had a forest of limbs that could come crashing down, ready to block any shot attempt and deflect any desperately thrown pass out of the paint. That was a problem for only one end of the floor. A team who has had trouble generating half-court offense this season, 90.1 points per 100 half-court possessions, 29th in the NBA, is suddenly given relief when the opponents they see in front of them are much smaller than them. The matchups become a predicament for the Warriors. Green has to take the 6 feet 10 inches Wendell Carter Jr., while Butler has to take the Paolo Banchero reps. While Butler can be quite the tenacious defender on individual matchups, he gives up 3 inches in height and approximately 20 pounds to Banchero. Fronting and crowding a taller player's lower body can be short-term solutions. But a significant height and weight disadvantage is typically hard to overcome. Moreover, the ultimate weapon to have when a small team goes to a zone, in particular, a 1-3-1 zone the Warriors have been keen on using as of late, is to have height sneak in behind the zone and become unreachable, especially if there's a significant lack of height to act as a buffer in the backline. Which is why, facing a 14-point deficit at halftime, Steve Kerr opted to start big. In Moody's place, the 7-foot Quinton Post was slotted in to play center and guard Carter, which allowed Green to slide over to Banchero. While Green is also shorter than Banchero, his 7 feet 1 inch wingspan and wider frame can more than compensate for the vertical discrepancy. Rather than having Green be the last line of defense, Post was then tasked to be the rim-protecting anchor. Previously, the Magic were having their way in the paint because no one could challenge them on a vertical level. Post's presence immediately gave them that challenge. While he has made strides as a pick-and-roll defender, Post's effectiveness as a defender multiplies when he has to guard more stationary play types, such as post-ups. The amusing and rather appropriate nature of a man named Post being more effective as a post-up defender isn't lost on me, but it wasn't amusing for Banchero in the possession below. The irony of Post being named Post comes, rather, on the other end of the floor. Post isn't known for his effectiveness as a back-to-the-basket center, although give him a significant advantage in the form of a much smaller defender and he will mash and bash his way to the rim, but at 40.8% on nearly 4 attempts per game from beyond the arc, Post provides a dynamic the Warriors haven't had before from the center position. When the Warriors run a play for Curry out of horns formation, where 2 players are parked on both elbows and 2 players are parked on both corners with a ball handler at the top of the key, watch where Post is located in the configuration. In horns, bigs are usually at one of the elbows. But Kerr elects to have Post stretch the floor, with Podziemski clearing the right side for Curry, who passes to Butler and comes off of Green's flare screen. A successful Curry 3 compels Kerr to repeat the same exact set the next time around, only for the Magic to be prepared to take away Curry coming off of the flare screen. The next progression of the set is then triggered, Curry running along the baseline, relocating to the opposite side, and coming off of Post's exit screen. Podziemski scripted clear out toward the same side where Curry's coming off of the exit screen clogs the side for any pass coming Curry's way, which takes away the set's plan B. Post is then forced to improvise himself. Seeing that his man, Carter, is parking himself directly underneath the rim with no intention of cozying up, Post realizes that no one is effectively guarding him, rightfully and understandably so. Curry will receive the majority of the attention and heraldry thrown his way. A 56-point performance on 93.5% true shooting is certainly a headline grabber. Suns star Kevin Durant discusses decision to pass on rejoining Warriors. Phoenix Suns star Kevin Durant joined his former teammate and Golden State Warriors big man, Draymond Green, on the Draymond Green Show with Baron Davis. During the hour-long episode, Durant talked extensively about his career and was asked directly about his decision to ask for the Suns not to trade him to the Warriors at this year's trade deadline. "As far as the Warriors, I didn't want to move, and then as a player like me, I cost a lot," Durant said. "Me going to your team is going to make this. It's going to be a whole new era for your team when I get to your team. I'm still of value, especially on my contract and my production, but me just getting up and moving in the middle of the season is going to be a big blow to any team I'm going to. I get why y'all trade me, and looking at it, simply fact, that's just business, but for me looking at it, it just don't make sense for either side right now to go through that. You know what I'm saying? When we can just play the season out, and if that's the decision you want to make in the offseason, then, you figure it out. It's such a big change to make, and I've been through it before, and it's not really it." Perhaps the most interesting part of his answer came when Durant pushed back against the idea that he declined the trade because he did not want to play with Green again, who had some tense interactions with Durant throughout their tenure together. However, even in that answer, Durant seemed to hint that he was not excited about the prospect of playing with Green again. Then the narratives that's going to come with all that sh*t, you don't want to go play with Draymond no more, you don't want to go back, and I was like, yeah, that sh*t is annoying and I don't like it, but I can play under any circumstance. The Warriors are undeniably happy with the early returns on the Jimmy Butler, but it's no secret that the organization nearly made a different blockbuster move at the NBA trade deadline. It's been confirmed by several different reporters that the Warriors, Suns, and Miami Heat had agreed in principle to a 3-team trade that would have sent Jimmy Butler to the Suns and Kevin Durant to the Warriors. And you, fan? What do you think of Kevin Durant's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.